Hi everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for June 30th to July 6th. So this week is special because every once in a while we have a week where there are no activations, meaning no planet-to-planet contacts. You know, there's always something, but of the major ones that we kind of track along with. So this week is devoted to the eclipses. I figured this was a good supplement and a good time to put it in there because we are approaching, because this is the week they kick off. July 2nd brings the new moon total solar eclipse in Cancer, and July 16th brings the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So we are in Cancer time, and this year, just like last year, again brings us face to face with some major choices and decisions, which will likely require some form of assimilation and elimination. Cancer's gift is processing all that passes through your system, taking in the nutrient that makes the system work, and any excesses or toxins that cannot be assimilated must be eliminated. If and when you do not eliminate excesses or toxins regularly, then blockages or some form of dis-ease or discomfort will occur. Quality nourishment, what you take into your system, is vital to the proper functioning of the whole. If you have held on to anything over long that has not been put to proper use, then you may be particularly toxic within or without, and you will have to cleanse and heal first, and then you can start to rebuild and fortify naturally. Digestion, assimilation, and elimination are truly Cancer's domain, and one or all may require periodic timeouts to process all that has come through your system over the last 6, 12, and 18 months. Think of the sun and moon cycle, the solar and lunar cycles, and the 9 and 18 years, which is the eclipse cycles. The last time we experienced Cancer-Capricorn eclipses was 2009 to 2011, and before that, and the one that is akin to now, the cycle that's rebooting, initiated in 2000 to 2002. So this summer brings much more clearing than the usual to the annual process. Keep in mind that on one or many levels you have released the past, you have cleared space and created new flow that must also be properly directed. This is a two-way process of flow, your input and your output. Your higher self does this naturally, but ego personality has preferences and can cause problems along the way. Your soul has been very busy working on your behalf, positioning you for greatness, stripping the weakness, and letting you know the areas of your life which have been in a famine for however long and for whatever reason. Cancer time beckons to come out of the storm of life, dry off by a warm fire, your heart, replenish yourself with light-filled food and quality rest. You are no good to your team. In fact, you are a danger and liability to your team if you are not centered, balanced, properly fortified, and fully rested. When you are, then you can be alert and focused, strong and productive. You are initiating a whole new level of personal self-care and responsibilities with this new eclipse series. This is big. We're choosing to be responsible for some very new things. So you are welcome to reach out for an eclipse portal reading to find out the area of life being activated for you, and we can dig into your cycles a little bit, see where you're at. I would love to support you in that. But in more practical terms, Cancer is the time to restore your energy, replenish your physical and spiritual nutrients, stabilize your foundation, clear your physical body and personal space of the past, any debris or clutter, and assess your inner and outer productivity with special attention to strengthening and fortifying yourself so that you can create come next month when it's Leo time. Okay? So Cancer time is time to restore your energy, replenish your nutrients on physical and spiritual levels, stabilize things that have been a little chaotic, clear the clutter, create some beauty in the personal space that makes you feel yummy and comfortable, and assess your productivity. How's it been going? This is the midpoint in the year, so this is when we do that. And like I tell you all the time, the midpoints are the best course correcting times. So if things haven't gone the way you would like them to in the last 6 months, this is the time to kind of initiate with some new vigor and with some renewed dedication. Eclipses have a 2 to 3 year cycle of anchoring the energies for bigger 8 to 10 and 18 to 20 year cycles. In this case, 2018 to 2020 is activating some of the same energies and shifts that were activated 2009 to 2011, before that 2000 to 2002, and before that 1990 to 1992. Please note that it does not necessarily activate the same events, just similar issues, energy, and decisions may be on the table at this time. No matter how you cut it, eclipses signify change, so being as conscious as possible and having a frame of reference should help you make better choices now, with all the education and tools you've acquired over the last cycle or two. It's time to apply it. As it relates to your sacred space and home and your contribution, your heart-centered work. And so I have some questions to contemplate that are useful. So these can be your journal prompts if you like. What were you going through then in those years I've already mentioned? 1990 to 92, 2000 to 2002, 2009 to 2011. What was going on for you? What lessons of emotional balance and responsibility were you completing and initiating? How were your definitions of home and work shifting, changing, evolving during those years? Can you pick up on any thread where those years really stirred it up for home and work? Or the ancestors. What were you learning about your own ancestors and your lineage? What primary mountain were you trying to climb at that time? What was the goal and aspiration of those years, and how'd it go, and where are you at with that? And is that evolving as well? How was your family structure changing? How was your career evolving? What was your definition of emotional and material security, and what is it now? Who were the people in your private intimate circle? And who were the people in your public professional circle? And who's still here? How were you opening up to a new level of existence? How was the millennium kicking off for you? Okay, so the 1990s were preceding Y2K, and then we had a lot to deal with in America, especially in 2001. And then here we are, reverberations. So now, how are things shifting and changing in your life today? Consider the above questions for here and now. How will you choose differently this time? All eclipses are considered course correctors, whether you're a little or a lot off course, and they are intensified solar and lunar energies pouring around and through you, no matter what your level of consciousness is. Things will be particularly intense during the month before, the month of, and the month after each eclipse. So basically we're already in it. Where are you in your evolution at this time? Do you feel like a new you is bubbling and about to burst open with life? Or perhaps you've just begun your journey of self-discovery and are just getting present to your evolution. You may be a little groggy, but waking up nonetheless. Wherever you are in your development, the winter and summer seasons of 2018 to 2020 will be extremely revealing and hopefully creative and fun too. There will likely be some aspects of the process that are uncomfortable, but that's the way growth and expansion goes. There are certain things you would not undertake, even the most necessary changes, voluntarily. So these radical shifts activated by the eclipse energy are how the universe contributes to your process. The ultimate blessing is to actually be conscious through it, to recognize where you are, the changes that are happening, whether you like it or not, and decide how you can contribute to this evolution, how you can co-create with this energy. I usually say whatever you are ready, willing, and able to change, the eclipses support it. Cancer and Capricorn is home and work and personal needs versus your professional needs and your private self and your public self, and they need a renewal every 9 to 10 years. That's a full cycle. So it's just a good rhythm to get into, and when we stagnate or we stay over long in certain situations, that's when the eclipses will come shake you by the ankles. Also, reflect on the last few cycles of Cancer Capricorn eclipses. What did they activate for you? Are you just beginning to get the aha moment? about now, most times the energy is too intense at the time, and it is hard to know exactly what or where the energies are pushing you. Eclipse cycles tend to take about 6 months to clarify the activation, while the entire process of initiation takes 2 to 3 years. That's why 2018 to 2020 is our little window here. To anchor, basically the next 8 to 10 years, with an extended realm of effects for 18 to 20, which is the full cycle. The 8 to 10 is the midpoint. But again, those are pivotal and the same energies but in reverse and that kind of thing. What do you want anchored by then? Basically on the other side of 2020, where your home and sacred space, as well as your work and contribution, are both concerned. Think about those things right now. What is really important to you? And this is a path and direction thing as well. Remember, this is north and south nodes. So this is the old direction and the new direction. And you're supported to make new choices in basically the same areas of life. Remember, a solar eclipse often activates your physical body, while the lunar eclipse activates your emotional body. But together, your spiritual body should go to a completely new level. The lessons this month will center around emotional and material security, home and work, sacred space and sacred work, private and public life, sacred feminine and masculine, archetypal mother and father. How can you be more responsible for your feelings? That's your inner zone, as well as what you create in the world, which is your outer zone. How can you connect to a deep sense of belonging, which is Cancer's realm, and an authentic sense of responsibility for your life and your life's work, which is Capricorn's realm? Remember, how you start is often how you finish. And Cancer initiates this quarter of the year, summer solstice to fall equinox, for there is deep value and potency in this extended moment in time. Cancer, Leo, Virgo prepares us for upcoming Libra, Scorpio, and Sag. That's basically July, August, September, preparing us for October, November, December, the final half of the year, which will complete the annual cycle. Despite 3D obligations, clocks, calendars, families, bosses, etc., all competing for your time and attention, I urge you to put on your invisibility cloak and make time for several periodic timeouts, or one long one, whatever you can do. Take some time to soak in the light before it recedes, bask, and while you're doing that, reflect on all that you've created with your energy and efforts over the course of the last 6 months to a year. More journal prompts and questions to consider. How well did your efforts produce in the last 6 months to a year? Or, go bigger with the 9-year and 18-year cycles. How well did your investments of all resources, time, energy, and money provide for you? How well did your investments provide? How well did your efforts produce? What is the quality of your return thus far? Okay? Not the quantity, the quality. Are the areas of your life blossoming with overflow, bounty, and beauty, and multiplying like crazy? Are there still other areas of your life wilting, dying on the vine, not being nourished properly, or receiving enough light? What do you want to do? In my household, we do have a little rule. Everybody does what they got to do so they can do what they want to do. So it's important to know the difference and to make the distinction. But what do you really want to do right now? What does your heart say to do? What feels right at the moment? What should you not attempt to continue to grow in your life? You know, what's ready to be let go of? What should you pay some special attention to because you know it will bear fruit if you would just give it some quality, direct, and focused energy and attention? You know, it's that cultivating of the garden concept that we apply to all our creative babies. If you plant the seeds and till the soil and give it water and light and love, it grows. So what have you been growing lately? You know, Cancer, Capricorn, like we said, is the mother, father making babies. So what part of you has been creating that way in the recent cycle? So we are coming out of the solstice zone into the eclipse zone, but we're lucky to have them together. And that is another thing that is going to be part of this 2018 to 2020 cycle. So it makes it even more imperative that you make any decisions regarding course correction at this time. To use the summer retrogrades, and with the Mercury retrograde in Cancer Leo, you will have a unique opportunity in this potent year of change to regroup this Cancer season and the Leo season. Summer solstice and the sun moving into Cancer initiates the second half of the year every year and activates a deeply transformative integration process with Pluto in Capricorn. And this is another long-term process that's still going on until 2024. So use this time, at least initially, to gather courage, cultivate integrity, tweak your plan, and prepare for the delicious and fun creativity that you will have access to next month when it's Leo time. And that's probably just the last thing I want to say about eclipses. And like I said earlier, the month before, the month of, the month after, we have the Mercury retrograde pretty much taking us out in that zone for all of July, August. So I'm looking at the harvest. I'm looking at fall equinox for things to be anchored and solid and ready to share and expand and to really feed us going forward. But in the meantime, this is a tiny, tiny little window we have to nurture ourselves and be supported by the energies to do it, to reconnect with our own inner truth and the story we're living by the choices we're making, and adapt and adjust accordingly. You know, nothing is etched in stone. We can shift and change at any moment. And we know that we can change our consciousness in an instant, but shifting the physical takes a couple of more extra steps. So be mindful, get some me time whenever, wherever you can. Self-preservation is not selfish, and this is a good time to do it if you can. So I am traveling this week, which is the other reason I was getting these things done. And so I'm going to also post next week's forecast, July 7th to the 13th, early. And so I would ask you to do me a favor, for those of you inclined, to reply to the email, you know, if you're on the e-list, or just shoot me an email on the contact form or kelly@karmictools.com and let me know if you prefer the forecasts on time or ahead of time. You know, I'm a one-woman show over here, so I do realize that there are days where it gets posted on Monday or Tuesday, which is not usually my intention. I like it to go up over the weekend. But I'm just curious. I'm not saying I can absolutely accommodate it, but I am setting up a schedule going forward, and I'm just curious what the preference is, and if a couple of you would reply and let me know if you prefer the forecast ahead of time. If I can, we might be able to do them a week or two ahead. But for these 2 weeks, you're covered with some extra juju. And if you missed it, there's 2 articles on Cancer, Capricorn, and eclipses on the blog, so you can go check those out at length. And I do realize that I promised some audio versions of those articles. So still give me a minute. I'm trying to get those recorded as well. And then there will be audio versions of my articles as well. So for this week, and my birthday is July 1st, which is why I'm traveling, and I'm going back to D.C. So the 4th of July fireworks in D.C. are kind of the best and what I grew up with, so I'm very excited about that. But I have to tell you, too, that on these rare occasions where we have a week with no activations, that usually means the next week is pretty intense. So we have the eclipse this week, and I will say that next week, the energies that support us on the other side of it are really good until the last one. Actually, they're all good, but when Mars squares off with Uranus, we gotta really watch ourselves, and that happens on July 11th. So keep things in check. Jupiter's still in its home sign of Sag, which can make us all kind of overdo it a little bit. So pull in the reins, be mindful, be responsible, and try to get some timeouts and some time to replenish. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great week. This is Kelly M. Beard of KarmicTools.com, and I'm so grateful for your time, energy, and support. Please share this with those you think would resonate, and reach out if and when you need to. Kelly@KarmicTools.com, or you can reach me through my contact page on the website. The goal of my weekly forecast is to alert you to the energies and activations that we're all experiencing and the possibilities for conscious co-creation as an individual. Awareness of the energies is the first key, but I invite you to take it to the next level by checking out my readings, telecircles, or subscriptions, which are all geared toward individual support that helps you understand your own unique blueprint. My specialty is cycles and patterns, and I love helping people figure out their own within the context of the social and collective rhythm. To some, working with their own cycles and patterns is a completely new and foreign concept, but there are many planetary cycles that coincide with natural life cycles that allow us to co-create in mystical as well as practical ways. I create custom tools that I have tried and tested myself for over 30 years, and I do the work alongside my circle every time. So I hope you will reach out if you feel called to dive deeper into your own soul's natural rhythm. Talk to you soon. One love.